Hey guys, Alex Kozora, SteelersDepot.com. Really excited to have football back, of course. Excited the Steelers won, of course. And then what that means if you've been with us in the past. Last year, I like to do midweek, either Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just depending on the schedule, a talk to the tape where we go through using the All 22 Coaches film from NFL Game Pass and go through a concept, a play, a series of plays, whatever I think is worth talking about, whatever I think you guys are interested in hearing about. So that's what we're going to do again today, like we have in the past. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel if you'd like to see these videos a little bit early, but of course they're always on SteelersDepot.com as well, and you can leave your feedback in the comment section as well. A couple things I want to note before I start. One, what we're talking about today is just looking at the Steelers' man-to-man coverage, its effectiveness, any differences we've seen, and just seeing it in action. I do want to, again, kind of caution and put the caveat out there that, this is a coverage that is not going to be done 90% of the time like some fans think and some fans want. It's not going to happen. It's still going to be used maybe at a similar clip to last year, probably a bit of an increase. But you're still going to get zone. You're still going to get cover 2 and cover 3 in some of those fire zones, which I watched throughout this Browns game. But I know that you guys are interested in hearing about that, seeing it in action, and I think that definitely the Steelers have better personnel by bringing in Joe Hayden, who's a slight upgrade over Cockrell in terms of that man-to-man coverage. The maturation of Artie Burns and Sean Davis is going to help, and if Mike Hilton proves anything in the slot, I think Jerry's still out there. I think that's something worth talking about. I think I have a train coming in the background, so you're probably going to hear noise in a second. Apologize for that. The other thing I want to apologize for is NFL Game Pass. They did a new thing this year, and it is pretty bad. It works better in a couple different ways. It doesn't disconnect you and stuff like that, but aesthetically and the functionality of it is a lot worse. It's kind of unpredictable in its screw-ups. It'll sometimes just kind of quit on you. So I don't know if we have any sort of screw-ups within the video, if you're going to see that and how we're going to handle that. I wish I could be playing the video live right now for you guys. I know people have talked about that in the past, just let the video play while I talk, but because of how finicky this thing is, I don't want to do that because it could land on a play, because some plays don't exist, for example, in coach's film. They just don't pop up. You get an error message. It's a whole headache. So I just letting you guys know if anything weird does happen, especially that I'm just starting to test it out. It's not going to be as smooth as it was last year, which is super disappointing because this is a valuable tool, but they've tried to improve it and they made it 10 times worse. So anyway, let's get into what we're talking about today. We're going to look at 4 different plays here of Steelers and man coverage. First play here, early in the first quarter, Browns in an empty set. Steelers respond, and in the past, you might see the Steelers play some zone coverage behind this because they didn't feel like they had the confidence in their personnel to play man coverage. And when they did play some man, look at the Patriots game last year. When they did play man, it didn't work. It was just ineffective. Steelers did not have the personnel and the weapons to have trust in that, so they played zone. They got burned for it. So there's not a whole lot to talk about here. It's a 5-man rush, and you're just going to get man coverage across the board. So at the top, you're going to carry the seam. Linebackers underneath. Nice job by Shazier to get on number 3. Man coverage at the bottom. And here's Mike Mitchell, as a single high, giving help wherever he needs, protecting over the top, reading the eyes of the quarterback. And this is super well covered the whole way through. No one's open at all. Kaiser's not getting flushed out of the pocket. I mean, it's blanketed the whole way around, and it's going to result in the sack. So we're going to look at the end zone angle as well, just to get it from that perspective. I do want to point out one quick thing about the rush. I think it's important to talk about. What I really like from this rush here is the contain from Vince Williams, that rush lane integrity of keeping Kaiser within the pocket, because Williams almost dips inside. Kaiser's looking to try to get the edge, and then Vince Williams does a great job of reading that, keeping his outside arm free, and containing Kaiser within the pocket. And that's going to allow the backside pressure of Anthony Chickillo. You got TJ Watt, Alualu coming through, and they're going to pick up the sack. We're going to go back to the man coverage. I'll let it run through. Again, man coverage across the board, really well covered, and this is a clear coverage sack. This is the definition of a coverage sack. There's nothing open, even an empty. You think an empty, teams going empty, they try to spread you out, isolate, create one-on-one matchups, hope their talent wins out. It's a smart idea by Cleveland, but the Steelers have the personnel to be able to stop it. So kudos to them. I'll let the end zone angle run one more time. And it's a good response by Pittsburgh too, because the Browns do all this pre-snap, motions and shifts. They start off in a tighter set, they go into empty. Steelers respond, match up well. Nowhere for Kozora to go. Good job by Williams to keep the lid on it, and it results in a sack. So next play we're going to look at, it comes in the second quarter. Let me scroll down and get it. Third and 9, so big get off down. Browns in Steelers territory. And I think one difference you're going to see is, the Steelers run fire zones. They still do the fire zones with Keith Butler. That hasn't changed at all. And it's not going to change, and I'm happy that that's still remaining. So you're still getting some of the LeBeau influence on Keith Butler's defense. But what I really like is that instead of playing some of these cover 3s behind their fire zones, you're playing some man-to-man coverage. So what you're going to get here is, and I might want to look at the end zone view first because I want to show the pressure. What you're going to get here is Keith Butler, or really Dick LeBeau, this is from LeBeau's playbook, their Sam fire zone, when you're going to have the nickel corner blitz down. You're going to have linebackers scrape over the top. So you're just getting that nickel pressure in this fire zone. And now traditionally, in these fire zones, you're playing cover 3 behind it. But instead, they're going to roll. It's kind of a different look. It's almost inverted where the corner now has this deep responsibility. You got Mitchell, the normal deep half to the other side, and you're playing trail technique underneath. So you're playing with the corner underneath the receiver. Safety has deep help. You're getting TJ Watt to drop into his curl flat. You have the corner here protecting. I think that's a safety. I think that's Sean Davis protecting any inside in-breaking routes. So when the receiver makes his break inside, it's covered. Davis did a pretty good job of that. So I'll let the whole thing run through. And again, everything's blanketed on the throw. When Kozora tries to throw this, I think it's down here, this corner, this comeback route. And there's miscommunication on it. So the pass ends up going incomplete. But it's really well blanketed. And again, when you're playing, if you're playing cover 3, Kozora might take a shot there. That might be a deep ball. But if you're playing that man coverage, if there's help over the top, a lot of times these vertical routes will get tagged, and you can turn it into a comeback if there's no room over the top. But there's no room for a comeback there either because you're playing the corner underneath. So you're taking the vertical threat and you're taking away the quote-unquote underneath threat, so this would be a long, 20-yard kind of comeback. But pass is incomplete. So good job there. Again, you're bringing the fire zone, but you're pairing that now with some more man coverage. You're in dime, too. Steelers, they use dime, I think, 10 times on 65 plays against the Browns, but you're having William Gay, in the first half. In the second half, it was Mike Hilton, be the dime defender. So now instead of a linebacker on the receiver, you're getting a DB on there, picks it up well. Nothing available. You got 3 over 2 here, man coverage there, 2 over 1 here, while you're able to bring some pressure. So I think that's kind of a newish wrinkle where instead of having to play zone behind, you're playing some more man. You're going to get some powder matching as well. We've seen that in the past. That's not a new thing from Pittsburgh. So you're getting some pressure. Chicolo gets in there. Pass is incomplete. All right, we'll go to the next play. A little bit later in the second quarter, 3rd and 6. And it's going to be a similar idea. Again, it's the Sam fire zone. You're going to get nickel pressure from Mike Hilton here and the inside linebacker coming. We'll look at the pressure first, because I want to go over that real quick. Now, Kozora does see it. They communicate. You're seeing kind of the aggressive posture by Hilton there. But the Browns still don't do a good job of picking this up. So I want to show the end zone view real quick. You're going to get outside contained by Chicolo. You're going to get Hayward scoop into the left tackle side. Going to have backside contained on it. You got the nickel blitz by Mike Hilton. It draws the eyes of both the right guard and the running back. They didn't communicate this well. Someone's got to pick up the linebacker. Someone's got to pick up the nickel corner. Instead, they both go for the corner. I can't say for sure whose issue this was. It depends on exactly how they scheme this up. My guess is that the back should have picked up Hilton and the guard was wrong and should have picked up Shazier, but Shazier gets free inside with a big hit on Kaiser. But let's go back and look at the coverage. And again, you're getting man coverage. It's not really trail technique this time. It's no too high look, but you're getting just straight man cover one across the board. And Watt also drops into the flat for his curl flat responsibility as the overhang defender to the top. But up top, this is where Kaiser goes with the football. Artie Burns, it's with a wider split. You're using the sideline to your advantage. You're pinning the receiver to the sideline. And Burns just runs him way out of the play. Passes incomplete. Steelers get off the field. So we'll put it all together here and let this thing run through. And man coverage across the board. There's nothing available. It's an all vertical concept. The Steelers are playing spot drops here, which is, just playing an area of the field. It's a very basic, idea of zone coverage. Against a 4 vertical attack, there's going to be these seam guys open down the field. If you're playing guys who are just sitting in the middle of the field and not carrying these receivers, that's where you run into zone coverage. If you think about cover 3, its biggest issue is 4 verticals. Because if you're getting 2 seam threats against a single high safety, the safety's always wrong. Because wherever he goes, the quarterback should throw opposite. So instead, you're matching up, you're carrying these guys down the seam. You have the receiver over the top to the sideline here. He's pinned, passes incomplete. And you pair that with a great blitz concept that gets pressure. So you're playing man coverage, tight coverage, with, immediate pressure. Again, this is at a dime. The blitz gets home. The coverage is solid. You're getting off the field every single time if you have those 2 things. So I'll play it through one more time, then we'll go to, I believe, the last play we're going to look at today. Great job by Shazier. Receiver is not even close, not even in the picture. And the pass is incomplete. So last one we're going to look at. It's going to be another sack. Again, you're going to get kind of another coverage sack here. It's not a fire zone this time. Actually, well, there is a corner blitz. I forgot about that. I couldn't remember exactly what happened on this play. I don't know if you want to define that as a fire zone or not, but you're going to get this corner blitz, which Hayden ends up getting the sack on. But again, you're getting really good coverage downfield. Man coverage. And what you're seeing here is a combination coverage. At least that's what it looks like to me. Because to the bottom, when you have the deep safety, 2 yards inside the hash, that means he's got deep half responsibility. You think about cover 2, the landmark for a safety is 2 yards inside the numbers. It's about where, I think that might be true, that is Sean Davis or Mike Mitchell, one of the two, is at. So you're having the corner who's able to play underneath, take away any in-breaking routes. Because the corner is not responsible for anything vertical. The safety is. So that's that responsibility. To the top, it looks like quarters coverage. Because the safety is not 2 yards inside the numbers. He's split in between the hash and the numbers, and really is more, closer to the hash. So the cornerback to the top, Artie Burns, is playing deep help. He has deep responsibility. So he's not playing trail techniques. So you're having basically quarter, halves. You're having quarter, halves, trail underneath, man coverage here. As well with the cornerback blitz from Joe Hayden. So I'll run through the end zone angle as well. Again, Hayden coming from the edges. This is new from Pittsburgh. They don't do a lot of these outside corner blitzes. They've done a lot of slot in the past. That's Sam Fire Zone. That's a staple. You have Butler, LeBeau, Sam Fire Zone, or Scar Fire Zone. That's all, pretty clear stuff that's been done before. Some of the safety blitzes is less common today, but it still happened and happened once against the Browns Sunday. One of his Frisco fire zones, his triple inside fire zones. I mean, they've run those concepts before. You're always going to get the way side backer from the pressure dropping into coverage, and then you're now playing quarters coverage behind, which becomes man coverage. Nickel or the corner comes, you're getting help underneath. That's actually what Davis rolling down to take the receiver while Hayden blitzes. You're going to rotate to the 2-high look. To the top here, responsible for the deep half. This is quarters coverage here. Man up to the top. Burns has deep responsibility. Watt gets on his man underneath. You're getting Shazier underneath as well. So everything's taken away. So right before the sack happens, I'll pause it so you guys can see what's open or really not open. I mean, this is right before Kaiser gets sacked. I mean, you get the comeback here is eventually opens up, but that's to the far side. It's a tough throw to make. Obviously happens too late, and Burns has to protect deep. But underneath, nothing. You have still help there. You have safeties with eyes on the football that can rally. Really well done by Pittsburgh. So it's not about just how much man you play, it's just the effectiveness of it and the versatility that it's going to have. And that's what Tomlin and Butler have talked about, and that's what we've talked about on Steelers Depot, is that don't expect the Steelers to run man coverage 90% of the time. Most teams are some variation of pattern matching and some zone coverage, because you just usually don't have the guys to play straight man coverage. That kind of personnel, you have to have a really deep group, and most teams don't have that. You don't have an Oakland Raiders anymore that will and can play man, as their dominant defense. But when you can throw it into the mix, and when you, depending on formations and game plans and opposing offenses, when you have the ability to play man coverage, it's really effective. And that's what the Steelers did not have last year. It made them one-dimensional. It made them predictable, and ultimately cost them, a trip to the Super Bowl. You think about it like a run game versus pass game. You can't run the ball 100% of the time. You can't pass the ball 100% of the time. You have to have some sort of balance. That's what man coverage is to zone coverage. You can't do either to an extreme level, but you have to have both, or you're going to be one-dimensional and you're predictable, and opposing offenses are going to pick you apart. So really happy to see this from Pittsburgh. They're combining good pressure packages with good rush lane integrity with solid coverage in the back end, and that's how you get, I think probably 4 or 5 of these sacks were coverage sacks. So that's when you're seeing rush and coverage come together. You get a day like you had where you have 7 sacks against a pretty good Browns offensive line. That's a lot better than it's been in the past. So wanted to show you guys about that man coverage. We'll continue to watch for it the rest of the year. Again, you're going to get variations. I saw cover 2 in this game. I saw cover 3 in this game. We're seeing some of these combination coverages. You're seeing straight man coverage, cover 1, 2-man, stuff like that. So that's what I'm most excited about from Keith Butler, is that you played so many different looks in this game. It was not your standard cover 3 80% of the time. Last year it was cover 2 a majority of the time because they just didn't have the personnel. Artie Burns was a young guy. Cover 2 is really easy to learn. Those spot dropping zones, that's all you could really do. You simplified the scheme to let you guys play fast, and I get that, but of course it's going to have unintended consequences to it. There's pros, there's cons, and a con is that you become more predictable, and spot dropping zone coverages can get picked apart in today's NFL. So I think whenever you see the Steelers defense be able to go to anything in the toolbox, that has me excited and is going to give them a puncher's chance to beat a team like New England and then get to a Super Bowl. So thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. Let me know if you have any issues with the video, the audio. If you have Game Pass and you have any workarounds or tips or tricks or whatever, I'm all ears about that one, trying to figure it out myself. Hopefully we'll improve on this a little bit as we go along. Let me know what you think about man coverage. This video, other thoughts about man coverage, should there be more of it? What else you'd like to see from the Steelers defense? Let me know either on YouTube, Steelers Depot, Twitter, however you can reach me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.